Hey friends, Levi here, and on my recent van conversion, my ghetto sprinter build, I took apart dozens of pallets, so many pallets. And in the process of doing that, I figured out the fastest way that I can remove the boards from the pallets that I can use for whatever project I'm working on. So today, I'm working on another pallet project, and so I thought I'd show you the quickest way I know how to remove those boards and hopefully save you lots of time. First method involves cutting, so you don't get as much of the board, but it's definitely the fastest. The second method involves more prying and an angle grinder, but I'll show you that one second. So let me show you how I take apart a pallet. Okay, so for our first method here, we're actually just going to use a skill saw to cut right down the inside edge of the slats. That means we don't have to fiddle with the nails, and we can do that on two of the sides and still get quite a bit of board to use, but it saves us a lot of time from not having to like pry out and cut nails. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these slats now. What I did just before this was I pulled out all the staples that were in this pallet. For some reason there were staples. You're going to want to do something similar. Just make sure that there's no metal that could be in the way of the saw blade as you're cutting down the pallet, because metal and saw blades don't go great together. Let's cut this pallet. Okay, so that was a pretty sloppy and quick cut job, but you get the point. It detaches the slats from these side runners here. So now the only place that the slats are attached is this center row here. And since you want to use as much of the board as possible, I use this basic little pry bar. Just hammer down the inside edge and then just slowly pry off each board and put the nails in a bucket. Pretty simple. So here's the usable slats you'd get from a pallet, and yeah, that's the fastest way that I know to get them off quickly. If you want to spend a little bit more time, you could do a better 90-degree cut right off the start, but normally I correct that stuff all with the chop saw later, and this is just the fastest way that I can get them off. Often one or two of them will start to crack when you're trying to pry on them. That's just what happens with the pallets with thinner slats. I actually really don't like the pallets with the thinner slats, but then you can proceed to do the same process on the bottom three boards. Usually there's about 3 boards on the bottom. Okay, so the next method I'm going to show you definitely takes a tiny bit longer, but the end result is you get a bit of a longer board, and you can still use more of the runners from the inside of the pallet if you need to use those for your project as well. Okay, so in this next method here, we put the pallet up on its end like this. We actually begin to pry a gap with our same tools, our pry bar and our hammer. We pry a gap in between the slats and the runners just by tapping it along down like this. And when you've created that gap, you can use an angle grinder or a reciprocating saw to cut in between that gap and just cut the nails right in half, so that way they're no longer connected. Let's do it. Well, there's two quick ways to take apart pallets. I'd love to know, what are you guys making? I'd love to hear in the comments what projects you're working on. I hope you learned something or two today. This is a lot of fun for me to be able to show some of the things I've been picking up and also learn from you guys. If you got any tips, drop them in the comments below. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. I teach filmmaking, I teach adventure filmmaking, so if you want to get involved with that or learn more about what I'm teaching there, you can join the collective. That's a great thing to do. I also vlog and do other random internet things, and I'd love to have you on board with those. So check the description for some links, and catch you guys in the next one. Remember, life's better when you make stuff.